Well, hello you guys. Welcome back to my channel. It's Celisa coming to you from Beautifully Me and You, de Bellamente y tú y yo. And y'all, if things look different, it's because they are. Okay, I bought a little bit of furniture and I'm upstairs in the office and I want to show you guys how I made my savings challenge box. So I've been promising this video for a while and we are going to break down the steps required to make one of these boxes yourself. It is a savings challenge that comes with a total of $2,500 as the goal. There are 12 sections to be completed. Each section has a tracker as well as a cash envelope for you to put the money from that section. When you get done with all the sections, that's when you'd have the $2,500. So if you're interested in getting all the details as to how you can make this box yourself, then let's get right into the video. So first things first, to get started, you will need the template. Now I am going to be selling, it's a 5-page document. I will be selling it on my Etsy store. You can purchase this as well and print it on whatever type of paper you like. Mine is printed on vellum and that does give it that kind of see-through look. So when you do cash stuff your envelopes, you can see the cash through the envelope. It isn't required. You can print it on regular paper. It just would be white in nature instead of that clear kind of crystally look that this one has, okay? The vellum paper, I can link a package of vellum paper from Amazon down below my Amazon storefront, but just know you can pick up vellum at Michael's, Staples, anywhere, and I would suggest you get the clear vellum, okay, because that's the kind that you can actually see through. I've made a tutorial before telling you how to make vellum envelopes, and I'll put the tutorial up here. So if you want to make envelopes in a different type of style, like for your A6 binder or mini size, you can actually look through that tutorial and find information on how to make vellum envelopes, which is going to be pretty similar to the things that we'll be doing today. Okay, it's just you'll be doing it with this template. So like I said, the template will be for sale in my Etsy. If you're interested, just click the link down below in order to purchase. I'm not going to do a step-by-step on how I actually made the template. I made it through Canva, and so if you're familiar with Canva, you ought to be able to manipulate some things and come up with something pretty similar. But yeah, basically I made it on Canva and I'll be selling it, like I said, down in my Etsy. All right, so the things that you'll need in order to make the box is going to be the 5-page template. You do need that, okay? Then you also need something to cut. I like to use this paper cutter. This is a guillotine style paper cutter. I used to have a rotary one, which I still have, but I'm starting to like this guillotine one just a little bit too much. And then if you don't have that, minimally, you'll need at least a pair of scissors because you can actually do this whole thing if you're just doing one box with a pair of scissors. You also will need some 3 mil laminate paper as well as 5 mil. That's what this one is. And I'm going to show you the differences that I use in order to create the box. Okay. So the first step is going to be, let's talk about just the trackers and the table of contents because those are not envelopes and those are pretty straightforward. So all we're going to do is cut them down to size, to the square size that's on here, and then laminate them with 5 mil. So they'll be pretty strong, right? The thicker the mil paper laminate that you use, so there's 3, 5, 10, the thicker that you use, the more sturdier the product will be when it comes out. And since these trackers are pretty sturdy, they're not flimsy, okay? That's why we're using 5 mil so we can get this sturdy product, okay? So... oh, and if you guys like this is actually a coaster for a drink. I'm putting the box on it, but I usually keep my coffee there. My daughter made this for me. She crocheted it. Isn't it so cute? Anyway, all right, so we'll leave that over there. All right, so I'm going to be cutting down the trackers. There's 3 pages of trackers. One is just solo, and I'm going to cut all those down first. If you do have a guillotine cutter, you want it to be right up against the black trim. So it'll look something like this once it's cut, about that much space. It even can be closer than that for the trackers. All right, so, and then I'm gonna cut on the other side. So let me get close on that one. And it looks like this. That one got super close, right? So let me get closer on the other side, hold on. All right, so I cut them both pretty close. And now we're going to do this one, same thing, getting pretty close to that black line. And I'm going to cut the other side. All right, so that's just page 1. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut these at the top and the bottom so that I have a perfect square like this. So let me do the rest.
I know that I haven't been who I was. I am supposed to be the one you can trust. I feel so useless 'cause I let you down. I hope there's some way I can make it
All right, so that's the first 5 trackers. I'm just gonna do the other sheets and I'm gonna speed this part up.
If you give me one more chance, I swear I'll try my best to always be there. And I want you to know that I'm lost without you. I'm not without you. I hope I can show what you mean to me, 'cause I don't know what to do if you go. I just don't know what to do if you go. I've been so selfish and made you believe that you're not good enough, but you're all I need. I take you places that you've never been. I would give you the world if you let me try again. Yeah, just give me one more chance. I swear I'll try my best to always.
All right, now that all the trackers are actually cut, we need to put these inside of 5mm laminate. So I'm gonna put the cutter down for a second and we'll work only on the trackers and the table of contents. All right, so this is the more thinner 3mm paper. We're not gonna be using that one right now, but we will be using the thicker one. That's 5mm. The reason why I cut down the sheets first before laminating is so that they will have a small laminate trim around here once they're done. If we laminated the whole sheet and then cut it down, it would be cut into the paper all the way around. And I don't want to do that. So basically, since I want that little trim, I'm going to cut them all down, put them back inside of a laminate pouch, 5mm, and cut them back down again. So let's do that. Okay, something like this. And then I do have a laminator that's turned on and I'm gonna run these through, but let me set them all up and then I'll run them through.
I long for that feeling.
The smartest thing would be to do multiple boxes if you have multiple to do at a time, so you won't end up with just one sheet of paper that needs to be laminated. But since we're only doing one box, I'm gonna go ahead and run it through with just one on it and just use that one sheet of laminate. If you have multiple boxes though, you should be filling this up, okay? So now we're gonna go ahead and laminate everything. All right, so the laminator's already turned on and ready to go. So what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and feed the laminate sheets through.
I'm not afraid to be alone, new beginnings. I'm not afraid to overcome every feeling.
So now I'm just gonna be trimming them back down to size, but leaving a tiny bit of border around each one. All right, and when you get done, it should look something like this. There is a little bit of trim at the top. And it'll fit down into the box just like this, okay? This one's a little bit wide because some of them, if I trim off a little bit more border on the side, it'll slide down in there even easier. So I'm gonna take a little bit off this side over here, a little bit off that side. I don't know if you can see that small little trim. And it looks more like this. See? Can you see it? And now it'll fit down into the box really easily. So that is one tracker. We need to do that 12 more times for the table of contents and the other trackers. Now that I have all the trackers set up and they're all chopped down, I put them back through the laminator just to make sure they seal any open edges. So I'm gonna do that next. All right, the next step I introduce the acrylic box. The acrylic box is a perfect cube. It's a 4x4x4 cube, and you can purchase these. I'll try to link one on Amazon. And so the trackers go into a 4x4. So I literally just put the trackers in order. So let me do that. All right, and so they go in order like this. There's a table of contents, section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So all of the trackers, and they'll go directly into the box like this. Okay, so that's the first step. We're halfway there, guys. Next, we're gonna work on the envelopes. There's 2 sheets of envelopes because remember there's 12 sections and 1 personal envelope per section, okay? So I'm gonna line these up and cut these down the same way we did the other ones, same way we did the trackers. So let me do that first. I'm literally cutting next to the black line and trying to keep them as even as possible, like that. Oh, I cut off a little bit of the trim on this one. So that would be one that I would have to fix if I was doing this for real. But since this is just a tutorial, we're gonna go ahead and go with it.
Take it away, feeling too good to me. Chilling all day, all in your space is where I wanna be. Here in this room, what did you do?
All right, so they should end up something like this with the black trim. And if the white's not exactly perfect, it's okay. But I mean, I'm gonna clean this one up. There we go. And so I'm gonna do that for all of these. I think these are already cut down, yeah. That one is. That one's good. So I cut this off of the 200, but I do have an extra 200 envelopes that we can work with. So let me just get that in a minute. I'm gonna replace the 200 envelope with one I already have pre-made because that one I cut off some of the trim. That's what Russian will do for ya. Have you cutting off trim you ain't supposed to be cutting off. 300, yeah, that one got cut off too. See that? So I'm gonna replace the 300 and the 200, but the rest of them I will show you how you make it, and then we'll assemble the box. So the next step, now that we got them all cut down, I'm gonna move the cutter. And this time we wanna use the 3mm paper. So this is 5mm. This one's 3, and this one's 3. So this one's pretty thicker. This is a thinner type of laminate. So I use 3mm for the envelopes the first go round. They're gonna be laminated several times. They will eventually end up in a 5mm sheet, but for right now we use 3. And so I'm gonna send this through. And I do the same thing just like I did with the trackers, just line them up 3 per page. Or wait, not 3, 6 per page. 3 per row, and send them through the laminator. You're the reason I'm going out my mind. I just can't stop thinking about you. While I'm waiting for the light to come on, I went ahead and pulled some that I already had created for 200 and 300. So this is a 300 envelope, and it's just like a pocket. Okay, it has laminate on each side evenly, and I'll show you how I achieved that. And then this one is the 200. Okay, so we already have the 200 and the 300 ready from another batch that I had made before. And so now we're gonna work on all the others. I'm just waiting for the ready light to come on the laminator. And then we'll just laminate.
I just can't stop thinking about you.
All right, so now that I have them all laminated, they look like this. They're pretty much like the trackers were, except in 3 mil instead of 5 mil. So now I'm gonna cut them all back down a second time.
Love, you move too fast for me. Can catch up with the thoughts in your mind. They're everywhere, and it's hard for me to bear. 'Cause I get so lost, feel just like a boomerang. 'Cause you change your plans every day, and you don't seem to care what I think or how it affects me. Since I laid my eyes on you, my baby, I just wanna make your dreams come true, my lady. If you low, I'll lift you up. Just let me know when it gets tough. Do you feel the way I do, my baby? Do you see me like I see you, my lady?
And another shortcut way you could do, if it's your own box that you're making, you can just go ahead and leave the sheets intact for these little squares, and then laminate them, and then cut them down after you laminate. In the end, you'll still have a laminated 3 mil little card. Okay, and that's basically what you need to start the envelope process. I'm gonna trim a little bit more off the top of this one, and then we'll get started with the card making, or with the envelope making process. All right, so these are all the little cards, except for the 200 and 300, because I'm gonna use those envelopes as I messed up the tracker. All right, the next thing we need to do, if you've seen me make cash envelopes before, we need a 3 mil laminate sheet. And what we're gonna do is end up making a little backing piece. I've already cut some down, so I'll show you like this. And we're gonna put that behind here and put that into a laminate sheet and run it through the laminator. I am gonna be changing the laminator to 5 mil, back to 5 mil, because that's how we're gonna laminate this little pocket. And when we cut this part open, there'll be a little pocket here that we can put our money in. Okay, so the first thing we need to do though is cut down these little sheets. So I'm going to explain to you the size of these. I already have plenty cut down, so I'm not going to be cutting a whole bunch, but I'll show you how I do it one time. All right, so I put the sheet in here. I don't trim anything. The rounded edges, I'll explain what I do to that later. I cut them 3 1/4, so about right here, by 3 1/9. So a little bit less than 4. This is the size that we want. So it doesn't matter if it has a rounded corner, because we're going to chop that off, and I'll show you how to lay this type in just a second. But there are 2 sheets here, both the shiny sides on the outside. You need to open this up into 2 pieces. This is 2 backings, okay? There's dull sides here, and there's shiny sides here. You can see the reflection of the shiny side. The shiny side should go up against the back of this card. If you put the dull side here, it will melt onto here and it won't create a pocket. So we need to make the shiny side up against the card, dull side facing out, right? That will make a pocket inside of here. Let me move this cutter and we'll go ahead and set up all the envelopes. So to set it up, you're going to use a 5 mil piece of paper like this. Open it up. And you're going to lay this in here. Now 6 can't fit in here because you do need trim on each side to make an envelope, right? So 6 of them can't fit the way that they could the other way when you were just laminating the first time, but 4 can fit per 5 mil sheet, okay? While that's going through, I'm gonna set up the next one.
You and me try to explain the way I feel. Let me speak, it's
Okay, now I have all of the envelopes laminated with the pouch behind them. We just need to cut them all open. And I do re-laminate those as well to make sure they're sealed. So let's go here. Now, I'm not sure what type of paper cutter you're gonna have, but what I do is I line this black line up with this piece right here. So see how this black line is right against there? And that will leave a trim around all sides. So I'm gonna do the same thing over here. First, I'll cut it down the middle. Okay, there we go. Cut it here, turn it, put the trim right against even, cut it. This one I'm gonna go in a little bit more just because I need to open the pouch. So now it's open. Wait a minute, hold on. All right, so it's open like this. And now we're gonna cut the bottom by lining up the black line again. So it looks like this. And I put it back through the laminator so it can seal off any stray edges like the ones that were at the top. I'm gonna cut this one. It looks like this. Oh, maybe I didn't cut that one close enough to open it up. Hold on. All right, so this one looks like that. The pocket's open, and I put it back through the laminator. Not only the second run through the laminator, it straightens them out, but it also gets rid of some of those frayed edges, and it looks like this, which goes with the rest of these. So they're all the same size. And give me a second, I'm gonna go ahead and cut them all down, and then I'll show you what they look like when we put them all in the box. All right, so the last step I did was just go through each one to make sure the envelopes were all open, and then I cut them far enough down so they did come open. Oh, that was the wrong side. There. So I just kind of checked them all like that, and I did that on time lapse to show you guys. So once I check them and they're all open, then I just put them in numerical order, and we put them with the trackers. So let's see, we have 100. I need a 120, 120. 140, 160, 175, 200. Can you tell I put these together a lot because I already know the numbers by heart? I've done a gazillion of these. Okay, 120, 140, 160, 175, 230, 250, 260, 275, 290, and 300. So let me put the cutter down and I'll show you how we assemble the box. All right, so this is the box we were already working on with all the trackers in tow. I'm going to turn off the laminator. We're all done with that. So now what I usually do is just stand it up. I know the order, but basically you would have the table of contents, and then you would have section 1 with 100, section 2, 120, section 3, 140, section 4, 150, section 5, 175, 6, 200, 7, 230. And this is the one that Ray pointed out had an error on it. This adds up to 300, but it has a 250 envelope because it's supposed to add up to 250. My math wasn't mathing that day. 260, 10, 275, 11, 290, and 12, 300. And I didn't go back and fix the template. So you could just go ahead and say you will have $2,550 if you save everything. This one looks a little bit tall, so then I line them up, and if anything looks a little out of whack, I don't know if you guys can see that one, but this one looks a little bit tall, so I would go ahead and trim this one a little more. That's section 12, so let me trim that. All right, so there's all the sections and the envelopes. So let's go ahead and pack this order up. I don't know who will be getting it, but let's just go ahead and do it. I use one of these cellophane bags. Hold on, let me get it all in order. Put it all together. And And then I turn it upside down. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Something happened. Oh, there. All right. I know the envelope for 300 should be on the bottom. All right, and then I flip it upside down and I just put these inside of here. And these cellophane bags are exactly 4 inches wide, so it fits directly the same way that it would inside the box. So if it doesn't fit in this bag, it's not gonna fit in the box. Then I just push this down. Okay. Seal this up. And just like that, I put a thank you sticker here on the pack. The pack goes directly inside the box. And I usually put a piece of pink tissue paper behind it. I put a thank you card with a handwritten note on the back. And then I put one sticker like this. And I put the lid, wrap it up in bubble paper, and put it into a 5x5 box. And that is how you make a savings box. Whether you're making it for yourself or you're making it as a gift for someone else, they really are an act of love, and they are so bomb. Like when you have them going on and you're saving, it really is a cute savings challenge, and it's just aesthetically pleasing, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial on how I made the savings box. I am going to be selling them through the rest of January and then sporadically in the months to follow. But every Tuesday they are loaded at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on my Etsy store. The link is down below. So if you're interested in getting yourself a savings box, make sure you head over there this month on a Tuesday so you can get yourself one. Other than that, just check my shop periodically. You can always favorite the shop, and then you'll be able to come back and purchase one when they come into stock. All right, I'm not going to have any specific dates or times when they'll be in stock in February or March or anywhere throughout the year. Just as I decide to make some, I'll make them and put them for sale. But for right now, I will be selling them every Tuesday for the remaining Tuesdays in January. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Also, if you want to make one yourself and you want the template, head over to my Etsy store and you can purchase that there. All right, you guys, I appreciate you for watching. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, put this one single emoji right here, letting me know that you made it. And don't forget, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button so you'll be notified when I put out more tutorials, because there's another one coming about A7 envelopes and how to make those. Also, like the video because it helps it to be suggested to other people who might need this inspiration on how to create different products. And then share the video with someone else if you think they are creative enough to take on the challenge to make a box. All right? I think that is everything for today. I appreciate you guys for being here. Trust me, I have more content coming out soon. And you guys, we're getting close to my January subscriber goal. So I truly, truly appreciate all those that are new here, as well as those that are holding true. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.